That's it. How you doing, everybody? This is Miguel The Dude, and today with me we have the submission technician, Mr. Bobby Venom. Mr. Bobby, thank you for being here with us today.
No, brother, you're the man, brother. Thanks for having me. That's why they call you Miguel The Dude, because you are that dude.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot to me coming from you, Mr. Venom. I wanted to do a little sit-down interview with you.
Sure.
So that, some of the people, you reside in the Bronx, you reside in New York.
New York City, baby.
And I'm sure some people have seen you wrestle here before. But I wanted to get a little bit, to know a little bit more about Mr. Bobby Venom.
Oh, okay, sure. Whatever you want to know, man.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to know about the beginnings of Bobby. What was Bobby about? How did Bobby get started into wrestling?
Oh, well, shoot, I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid, going all the way back to even most people watch the WWF as it was back in the '80s.
Right.
But I watched a lot of NWA with Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair,
I
and
love it.
Carlos Colon, Kareem Muhammad, and those wars with Abdullah the Butcher and Puerto Rico and Hercules Ayala, Nick Bockwinkel, going all the way back to. And so it wasn't just the WWE or the WWF, it was back in the day. So I was always like, wow, these guys are big, strong, athletic, and they're powerful, and they stay in shape. And I've always been athletic as a kid growing up. So I've always wanted to try that part of it. I always wanted to try being a wrestler.
I always thought I could do that.
Yeah, like wow, I think I could do that. I always picture myself like all these thousands of people, and me going, the funny faces, the moves, the flying, the pageantry, and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome, man. I think most of us have that little spark, when we grow up around.
Sure,
like
absolutely.
You said when you were a kid. Since you were a kid, you've been watching wrestling. But when did you actually decide to take that step into wrestling?
Oh well, I used to always go watch my brother wrestle. I mean, shoot, he's been in wrestling since he was a kid. He got his start trained by a gentleman by the name of Bobby Boldeagle, who wrestled all over the world, including the NWA, and he actually worked for Vince's father back in the '70s, Vince Sr. So
wow.
He trained my brother, and my brother was, he actually had a cup of coffee with the WWE and ECW back in the early '90s. So one time I got tired of playing baseball because I was always a baseball player. I got tired of playing baseball, and I asked him, look, I always come see you wrestle, and I love what you do, and I want to be a part of that. I want to jump in there and feel what y'all feeling like. The adoration, the reaction, whether they're booing or cheering, it's really, it's really irrelevant. But the fact that fans are reacting because they're so focused and so in tune to what you're doing in the ring.
You feel that energy from them.
That energy is just amazing. Whether, like I said, booing, cheering, cursing, throwing, whatever they're doing. The fact that they're focused on what you're doing in the ring is like, wow, somebody's paying attention.
And the fact that you have their attention.
Exactly. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like a mutual bond, a mutual respect kind of thing. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling. So I wanted to do that. So in 2001, that's when I started really focusing on in-ring.
How do you prepare to train for wrestling?
Oh shoot, that's a whole routine, a whole curriculum of things to do as far as to get prepared for wrestling, because people may say wrestling's fake, but until they actually try for even 5 minutes, you'll be like, wow, wait a minute, I didn't know that hurt, or I didn't know you needed to do that to get to this.
Yeah. So
it's not just about body slams and clotheslines, it's a lot more than that. So you have to really be prepared mentally, physically, and emotionally too. That also plays a part of it.
Oh yeah. And, people just think that it's the physical part of it, but then emotionally,
so much,
mentally, how that's.
Oh, it's so much more, man. You got to do plenty of cardio. Of course, you got to build the high pain threshold, because it doesn't tickle to get slammed on your back for 15 minutes. So
no matter how much practice it, right?
No, you can practice until your tongue turns blue. You're still gonna get some form of pain, or you're still gonna be banged up because you do this show, but then this promoter wants you to do that show, and then the promoter in Puerto Rico wants you to do that show, and the promoter in Florida wants. So you're always traveling. So traveling and sitting in the plane for a couple hours, like, oh, let's hurry up and get there, so you can,
And that's a different thing about Bobby Venom. But Bobby doesn't just wrestle in California. I mean, you come out here to wrestle on some events.
UIPW, baby. Love you guys.
Cheap plug, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, you got a wrestling match coming soon in UIPW, and we've seen you at a few UIPW events here. So I definitely know that I've seen you there. Where else have you wrestled other than California?
Oh shoot! I finally got to wrestle in Puerto Rico when I won a championship out in Maya West, which is my father's hometown. Love you, Pop. That was like my WrestleMania moment, because that's where that's the neighborhood where he grew up. And when I went there, my very first night in the promotion, New Revolution Wrestling NRW in Maya West, that when I won that championship, that was like my WrestleMania moment. Then when he finally saw me wrestle for the first time, I believe it was early this year, maybe last year, late last year, early this year, probably somewhere. When he was in the crowd, when I won another championship in the very same neighborhood where we grew up in, that was like, wow! I don't have to wrestle in Puerto Rico anymore, because that it doesn't matter if I don't wrestle for Carlos Colon or on a house show that the WWE happens to have there. But having my dad in the crowd watching me win a championship, that was everything. That was cool.
I can bet, man.
That was everything, sure.
So, your dad has always been supportive, or at least your family always supportive?
Oh, sure. No, man, you kidding me? I think my dad didn't really have that sit down as far as, this is how you have to live life. Because he always led by example. He always taught us by example.
That's also good.
But he did, have to pop me in the back of the head every once in a while. This is how you do things, whatever. But, he's always been supportive as long as we're taking care of ourselves. As long as we providing for ourselves, not depending on other people.
Right.
So that's how my dad was, but
that's pretty wise teachings there.
Yeah, other than Puerto Rico, I've also got to wrestle in my first NWA affiliate out in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That was pretty cool feeling. Cleveland, Ohio, Portland, Oregon for Portland Wrestling. Portland Wrestling has a long history, by the way. You had Jimmy Snuka and Piper and all those people in up there.
That's where they come from?
No, well, that's where they
they got their start?
one of their early starts in Portland, Oregon area. You're talking Denver, Colorado. So I've been around. I try to get my name out there. I don't claim to be anything big, but I love what I do, and anywhere I get a chance to do it, I'm gonna go for it.
Well, you're a force to be reckoned with, man. Out here, I've seen you wrestle, and then you go up there against the big guys, and yeah. We were watching the video about Bobby Venom earlier.
Oh, the highlight, sure, yeah.
The highlight, it's on YouTube. It's called Bobby
V highlight video. We'll put it on the UIPW site and everything, the UIPW TV site.
Yeah,
it's not $9.99, but you can still see it on Facebook. I can't believe I'm saying that. But yeah.
Your move, man, the Death Valley drop.
The Death Valley driver, shoot! I got that from a guy. Not many people talk about it. It's a crying shame. Louis Spiccoli.
It's actually titled. It's actually called the Spiccoli driver now.
Right. Yes. A lot of people when they use it, they either in tribute to him, they hold him up there. Oh, Spiccoli, and then they drop him. Tommy Dreamer uses it too. So
yes.
But Louis Spiccoli, very underrated wrestler. So I'm glad I'm able to use give him some kind of a tribute.
It's a devastating move, man. I can imagine it hurts. I've been on some really heavy guys, man.
Yeah, well, it's all about. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the interview with training, and then not just about body slams and suplex. You gotta put the work in the gym to really be fit to do these things.
That's awesome, man. I see you. I see wrestling, and I see wrestling. I see submission technician, right? But if you didn't end up being wrestling, or if you didn't end up doing wrestling, what would you have done?
Wow, that's a great question. If I wasn't wrestling, what else would I be doing? You know what? I'd probably be a correction officer. Who knows? Probably.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know, right?
You never know.
What kind of advice would you have for either people that want to get into wrestling, and they're getting their starts right now? What kind of advice would you have for them?
Oh, well, first of all, get your education. That's number one. Don't get into it with your parents about, I want to do wrestling, I don't want to go to school. No, get your education, number one. That's so important. You got to have a fallback plan, because if you get hurt, you tear an ankle, you tear a knee, what good are you to a promoter, whether in California, Japan, or Puerto Rico, or Mexico, if you can't perform the moves that they need you to perform in the ring? So get the education first and get that degree, number one. Number two, never ever give up. You're going to be tired, you're going to be broken mentally and physically. You're going to have days where you're going to want to give up and just go home and say, I can't believe I wasted my time doing this. No. You got into wrestling for a reason. Go for it, stick it out, and keep going. But absolutely, education is number one important. 3, I would just say just put the time in the gym and keep working. Don't give, like I said, it all ties into not giving up. But number one, I can't stress this, like the 3rd time I'm saying it, education. You must have your education and that fallback plan.
Right, just in case your body gives out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, what good are you to promote if your back is broke, your knee, or then, and now what you're gonna do? You got to provide for yourself. You gotta have a roof over your head. You gotta have food in your stomach. You gotta have clothes on your back. So you gotta have that fallback plan so you can have a job and you can afford these things so you can be taken care of.
Awesome, man. You know, it's awesome. It's good advice.
Sure.
Hey, finally, do you have any shout outs, any words that you have for your fans or for anybody in particular?
Shout outs to the fans. Thank you for your continued support. You can like my page on Facebook, the Submission Technician Bobby Venom. You can follow me on Instagram, _submission_technician. As far as anybody, Datura, sweetheart of a wrestler, sweetheart of a person. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with, who was also on the WWE television. Not many people know about that.
She'll be there tomorrow as well.
She'll be there tomorrow, so there you go. And let's see, Mom and Dad, I love you. Your bro, Panther Rodriguez, he's in Tennessee right now. Keep whipping that ass. At his age, the way he's doing, he's whipping that ass, bro. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to call you my trainer.
I'm sorry, and I just said that was the final thing. But
no, PS. We got, you know how letters always have. We have the letter and sincerely and all that, but you also have a PS.
Yes.
This could be the PS of the interview.
Here's the PS of the interview. Your brother. Let's talk a little bit about your brother.
Sure. PS. Just remember this PS.
Yes. Can you tell us about your brother?
Oh well, shoot. He's a great guy, man. We grew up, you know, like brothers always. We fight, we argue, we piss each other off, we back each other up. You know, he's not. You don't find too many people with his passion for this business. You know, when I saw him on TV fighting against Kamala, and then the very next week against the Nasty Boys, I was like, holy crap, my brother's on WWF television. Channel 5 and Channel 9. On the East Coast. Yeah. Back then it was the WWF. Pardon.
Do we have to bleep that part out, the F part? No, huh?
No. Get the F out? No problem. Don't worry about it.
No, we don't.
But, and the ECW, and that was like, wow, that's amazing.
He wrestled in ECW as well.
In the early '90s, yes, he wrestled against Taz, and he did a match with 2 other matches. Once against Shane Douglas and Mr. Hughes.
Oh yeah.
And
of course.
I don't know if you remember Ron and Don Harris, who were in TNA years ago. They were known as Jacob and Eli Blue in the WWF.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, Skull and April. Remember the Disciples of Apocalypse?
Yeah.
They had all kinds of characters. Ron and Don Harris, 2 good guys, by the way. So he had a chance to wrestle against them as well. He also, another thing people don't realize, he also wrestled in the Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling when you had Ivan Koloff and Wahoo McDaniel, all those great, Sharon Lockwood, all those great legends. So.
He's old school.
Yeah, my brother's old school to the heart. Yeah.
I mean, can you tell us his name? Or is he,
well, he was known in the local Northeast area, New York City, Indy area, as the Black Panther. This is back in the late '80s, early '90s. But now he just goes by Panther.
Did he wear a mask or?
He was under a hood.
He was under a hood.
He should have kept the hood on. He's gonna kill me for that one.
Why didn't you decide to wrestle with a mask? Like, you know.
No, I want people to see my beautiful mean face. That's why.
Okay, so now, like I said, that was it for me. That was my PS.
This is the PS. Remember, PS.
If there's anything else that you'd like to add to this, sir.
Just thanks for having me, and be sure to show UIPW TV, UIPW LA. You know, keep supporting your local indie wrestling out here in California and wherever else you go, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Mr. Robbie, for being here with us.
Oh, brother, thank you. Appreciate it. Take care, guys.
See
Peace.
you. See you around. All right.